Hi, this is Lauren Fogelman at ExpertSportsPerformance.com, working with high-achieving athletes, coaches, and teams on being focused for winning results. Today's topic is how to coach athletes for mental toughness. Surrender is my word for today. Surrender is really going to get results. And I know that you're thinking, what do you mean surrender? Well, I'll tell you what I don't mean. I don't mean waving the white flag and giving up, putting your hands above your head and just quitting. That's not the type of surrender that I'm talking about. The type of surrender I'm talking about takes a lot of courage. It's about recognizing where this athlete is trying to control something that's not within their control, where they're butting their head up against a wall, they're struggling and fighting through something and not getting the results for the amount of effort that they're putting into it. That is the type of surrender that I'm talking about, is recognizing where the resistance is, realizing that it's beyond their control, and then shifting their attention to something that's going to really help them get those results. When you do that, when you know how to coach athletes through the resistance and focus on what's going to really work, then they're building mental toughness. And that's what I'm going to talk about today, is the steps needed here to really get some mental toughness with your athletes so that when they're in the struggle, when they're in the fight, when they're in the toughest moments of the competition, they rise up to the challenge instead of getting caught up in their mental game. So let's see what it takes to help you coach for that mental toughness. The first one is really looking at the tug of war. What is that inner struggle that's going on, that's creating resistance, that's leading to distractions, that's just chipping away from their confidence, and those athletes aren't getting the results that you know that they're capable of getting. So you got to figure out where they're trying to control something that's beyond their control, and to be able to let it go and focus on what really gets results. Help them step out of that tug of war. Afterwards, open-minded, because when you're open-minded, it means that you're going to be coaching them and you're going to be detached. You're going to give them suggestions, you're going to tell them what to do. That's your job, is to coach athletes. However, don't take it personally when they don't necessarily follow through with your directions in the exact way that you want them to. And I understand there's times that they need to follow through, but we all have our different ways of learning and really getting it. So don't detach yourself from the outcome. Don't take it personally, and be open to finding the way to deliver the message in the way that they need it that's going to go ahead and get results. After open-minded is unload. This is about recognizing where there's healthy as well as unhealthy fear, because of course there's some healthy fear. But once we're able to recognize that fear exists, it's not that they should shy away from fear. That's not what competition is about. It's about recognizing the fear and just transforming your response to it. And that's what great coaches help athletes do, is to be able to shift the response once the fear does show up. It's not about being fearless. It's about how you change the action when you're feeling the fear and doing what you know is right, what you've been trained for anyway, despite the fear. After unload is good to great. Perfectionism isn't really what's going to get the fastest results. It slows athletes down too much. What we want to do is look for excellence. We want them to aspire to be as great as they possibly can. Going from good to great is about aspiring through excellence, being the best you possibly can, and then continuing to build upon that. Seek excellence, not perfection if you're looking for results. Afterwards, honor and respect. Honor and respect is about coaching your athletes to create a culture within the team where they're taking personal responsibility for themselves. Get rid of the blame game. Don't accept it anymore. Have healthy boundaries. Be the role model of how you want your athletes to show up. Honor yourself, honor and respect your athletes, and demand the same from them. And not just in uniform, but out of uniform also, because When you're athletes, the community, other people are watching you. And you want to be able to have that honor and respect out of uniform as well as in uniform. After that, navigate. Navigate is about navigating through the illusions. Where are they stopping themselves, getting in their own way? You know they have the potential, but they just don't know how to do it in a way that feels right to them. So they're holding back. There's that resistance. They're holding too hard onto control. How can you coach them to get beyond the illusion, get out of their own way, surrender to that illusion so that they can step up in a bigger way? It's a coachable issue, and if you can coach them on that part of their mental game, you're going to get so much more from them. They're going to dig deep for you when it really counts. Afterwards is educate. Master coaches, master athletes, they're students first. There is always more to learn. Where can you learn more? Be open. And sometimes it's learning from your athletes. What can they teach you that's going to help you be a better coach? But for your athletes, what do they need to learn from you so that they can really be the best that they can possibly be and get the best results for the team? Ongoing education is important. It's not just about learning the concepts, it's about being able to integrate them and put them into play when they're under pressure. Afterwards is select. This is about who do they spend time with? Who do you spend time with? Association is so important. I want to encourage you to teach your athletes to play up with better athletes. Instead of them training with the athletes who they are better than or who's just as good as they are, put them around athletes who are much better than they are so that they have to play up to the next level. They're competitors. It's going to really challenge them to dig deep, to really push themselves in order to be able to keep up and get those winning results. And finally, strength. It's so easy to look at what's not working well, how we got in our own way, how you lost or failed. That's important information, but you really want to be able to play to their strengths. Knowing that when they're in a tough situation, when there's some struggle going on, where you know that they can do better, it's about figuring out how to coach them to dig deep, to find the strengths that they have already and maybe they've used in another situation and bridge the gap to what's going on now so they can use those qualities they already possess and help them get through this particular challenge. So find the strengths, they have it, pull it out of them, encourage them, let them know that it's all about the effort, and with consistent effort, there's going to be winning results. When you combine these mental toughness steps along with your physical training program, you're going to get amazing results. Your athletes are going to soar. They're going to rise up to their full potential. And what I want to do is challenge you to look at how well do you coach on mental toughness. If you were to rate it from 0 to 10, with 0 being absolutely no mental toughness training and 10 being you're fully dialed in, what number will you give yourself? And then I want to encourage you to take a 30-day challenge. Focus on one area of your training program where you can build in a mental toughness component. Any one of these. What will you choose to build into your program? And once you make that decision and that choice, then think about 2 things that can be built into the program that will build up that type of mental toughness with your athletes. What are 2 things that you can do that will be able to help you coach your athletes more effectively on their mental toughness so that they're able to rise up to the challenge and have really laser focus under pressure? Now that you know what 2 things you're going to do, on a weekly basis, rate yourself. How well are you doing with those 2 things that you decided to implement into your training program? 0 to 10. Is it 0? Is it 10? Or somewhere in between? And on those 2 things, what's working well? And where can you use some improvement and make some shifts in order to be even more effective? After you've done the 30-day challenge, go back and review. Where were things when you started? Where are things now? What worked? What can you do a little bit differently? Then focus on the next thing you want to dial into your training program so you really get your athletes as mentally tough as possible. If you're interested in the 7 essential steps to improve your mental game, go to my website, expertsportsperformance.com, put your name and email address in the upper right-hand corner. Immediately, you'll get the first of the video training series. Let me know what you're going to do to help your athletes become mentally tough. What are you going to do to dial into your training program? I'd love to hear your comments. My mission is to show you how to stay cool when the heat is on. Lauren Fogelman, expertsportsperformance.com.